All right, we're working our way through other pods here. Duke, North Carolina, NC State, and Wake Forest. It is the hoop state, but clearly the football programs want a stake in the matter of can they pull off some classics, and it will definitely be an interesting year as a lot of high hopes and expectations are for some unfamiliar with football, those who aren't really used to Duke being good. Hey, I got news for you. We'll talk about North Carolina, Drake May. Will he return? Will he stay? I mean, dang, I already gave up a question, but I got more.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. I'm your host, Candace Cooper, joined by Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. Each and every day, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you download, subscribe to the pod on our YouTube channel. Make sure you leave a comment. We love it when you guys talk to us because we certainly will talk back. It's all about the biggest questions for 2023 for ACC football. You've got Duke, North Carolina, NC State, and Wake Forest all playing each other, or Duke, that's part of their schedule. But we're going to talk about Duke, North Carolina, and Wake Forest while we have them here. They're going to be some very formidable foes as we work through this fun, engaging time. But for Duke, North Carolina, and Wake Forest, it's really going to be apparent as a hoop state is what they're known for. Can the football program stand toe-to-toe with this bad boy? Kenton, how are you feeling?
I feel great. I'm ready to talk about these teams because they all have some very interesting questions, and they are all going to be at least serviceable next year, I would like to believe.
1,000%. We'll definitely talk from Duke perspective to start out, but I will say, for those who don't know us, and just so we can make it clear, because everyone's going to feel in their feelings as we go out throughout the season. I did go to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I was a swimmer there. For anyone who is new to the show, who is unfamiliar, just Google the name. It'll give you a vibe and all that good stuff. Kenton Gibbs, same way, went to North Carolina State University. If you Google the name, you'll find all the fun things. And, sometimes we tend to get a little bit spicy when it comes to our respective programs. As you can imagine, there's a little bit bias there. It gets heated. We have had to retape episodes because of it.
Bias?
100,000%. 100,000%.
Oh.
But fun fact for those who really, really follow our show and who are faithful to us, know that you have lost money because of these conversations that we've had. And it all stems from Duke football.
First of all, these are the forgeries of jealousy. I am not biased. But now moving forward, I've lost money on Duke. You're right. Mike Elko had the greatest first season of any Duke head coach of all time outside of one. Do you know who that one coach is?
Steve Spurrier.
Wrong. Wallace Wade, the guy the stadium's named after.
Look at the fun again.
That's the only guy. Yeah. That's the only guy that's had a better season than him.
Well, things get down at Wallace Wade. Things have spiced up at Wallace Wade. There's a lot of engagement at Wallace Wade.
And this is what I'm saying. Duke, if anybody predicted Elko to have that great of a season, more power to you. Because I don't even think you thought that they had 9 wins.
See.
You didn't think they had 9 wins. You didn't think they had 9. You thought they had 9 wins.
I knew they had more than 6.
Okay. All right. See, that's not the same. That's not the same. That's not.
I knew they had more than 6.
It's like if you see a couple together on the first date and you're like, oh, they're kind of cute together. They might. They look adorable, and then be like, "Oh, I knew they were gonna get married and have a beautiful family that lasted until they both went on to the great beyond."
But sometimes you have a hunch, but sometimes and that's when I say clear. I was at ACC Media Days last year. Nobody believed me. Everyone looked at me like I was cuckoo crazy. But I heard Dwayne Carter. I knew what them boys was about. They said just wait and see, and they're a smart bunch over there, so they know how to put the X's and O's together on the board, but they executed on the field. And that's why I'm riding out, because they win me some good old-fashioned American green, okay?
Well, like I said, you got them building on that and winning 10 games this year, and I don't. So we're going to have a great time getting my money back. It's going to be great.
Shout out to the homie who asked for my Cash App already, who wants me to make sure that I get a request from him. Yeah, go play in that traffic of yours. Anyway, it's fine.
Going to be great. It's going to be great getting my money back.
But $150.
But here's the thing.
Don't do it.
Here's the thing. I actually do think that Duke is a really good team. I really do. I really do. There is a part of me that is still like y'all played a bunch of terrible teams that nobody could have predicted was that terrible. But as we say on this show 1,000 times, we'll say it 1,000 more before we go off air. You play who's in front of you. You play who's in front of you. And with that being said, when you look at this team and you say, okay, what have they done with the teams that have been in front of them? They play good ball and they won some football games. And you ask yourself, is it because they were in the Coastal? Is it because they were in the worst of it? Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're going to find out this year. And my biggest question for Duke will be, how do you follow up that type of season? Because objectively, it was a historic season. It was a historic season, and you're not catching anybody by surprise. Nobody's looking up saying, oh, Duke, go ahead and pencil a W like they have in the past. Nobody's doing that anymore. Are you ready to I wouldn't say that they've gone from being the hunter to the hunted, but when you go from the team that everybody checks off a W to now a team that people are, all right, you got to be ready. Duke go run the ball. They're going to stop the run. We got to get physical. We got to be real physical now. We got to be ready for this. How do you look then?
Well, one thing about them boys over there at Duke in Durham, North Carolina, baby, they smart. They know how to not, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they know how to just re-execute what they were executing. You know what I'm talking about? So I just feel like the Blue Devils are going to ride out and give my 10 wins, so I go ahead and get this money. What I need them to do, though, Jordan Moore, who, is part of that wide receiver package. I need him to have a good year. I need Jalen to have a good season. I need some of that backfield to do what it does. And kick returns, they have to win in special moments, right? They have to have the poppy by the mouth, surprising, okay, we weren't expecting. And while you do say, yes, teams are certainly like, we're taking Duke way more seriously, they're still going to have to be the team that sort of makes others miss if they want to continue this momentum of finding some ways to win.
Absolutely, but I'm upset that you didn't mention my boy. You already mentioned him earlier. Mr. Dwayne Carter is the key. I think
That's true. That defense is dominant.
He and Riley Leonard are the key to this thing. And I know what people are thinking. Oh, Ken, you're just saying that because he's a defensive tackle and you were a defensive tackle. Absolutely not. Fun fact about Duke, they were 4-1 last year when Dwayne Carter got half a sack or more. His ability to pressure the passer is vital to this team.
Sure.
Because when he is winning, he changes the math. What do I mean by change the math? The math that offenses are looking for is 1 versus 1. And if we can stalemate, then we're good because I count on my 1 with the ball beating your 1 without the ball. But what if a defender changes that math? Sure. What if he beats the one that he's across from, and then all of a sudden the ball carrier has a 1 on 2? It's a handicap match now. We don't like that. What if you can't get it in the space into that one-on-one matchup on the edge that you have? Because again, one of the defenders has beaten his one-on-one. It's important. So I think Dwayne Carter and his ability to have some pass rush juice at the defensive tackle spot is extremely pivotal to this team.
All right, you're starting to sound a little bit too football-y for me, okay? I'm real pretty, all right? You're getting a little too XENO for me, okay? Thank you so much. Now, I will say, Shaka Hayward ain't walked through that door. So Dwayne is one man, and they're going to have to build units around him in order to really be explosive. But I'm excited to see it come to fruition, and I certainly think it will come to pass. And while we do, talk about all those things and we get ready for what will be a really great season these days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Listen, all you got to do is go to linkedin.com, then add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions, they do apply. So Kenton Gibbs is about to convince me why North Carolina is just going to be the team of the year, led by Drake May. And Mac Brown has not sold us a bill of goods. And it's actually Cedric Gray in the program that's going to elevate that defense. And we're going to get our way right down to Charlotte come 1st of December.
Who said that?
Huh?
Who said that?
I thought that's what you were going to lead with. I just want to go ahead and put it out there for you.
Who said that?
Yeah, okay.
I didn't say nothing along those lines.
All right. Well, you know
I
what?
will say
Let's
this.
start. Say something nice about North Carolina.
I
Go
will
ahead.
say this, and I'm gonna tell you this. Every time I say something nice about a Tar Heel, I know for a fact that when I go to see Big G, when my time on this earth here is done, and he's looking at me and he's like, "Well, what did you do?" I'm gonna say I said something nice about a Tar Heel. That right there is enough.
That's gonna get your ticket into heaven because it is God's blue. So I get it.
Get me in. Let me in, Playboy. Let me in.
Peter's gonna check you right off the VIP list.
I stand by it. I guarantee it. But with that being said, I think that the one nice thing that I'll say is Drake May is every bit as good as advertised. Now, I know what you're thinking, Locked On ACC listeners. Last time Kenton said a UNC team was as good as advertised, they went from number 1 to not making the tournament. But I'm not talking about a team here. I'm talking about a player. And I'm telling you, Drake May backpacked this team into all of those wins last year and to an ACC championship last year.
I think it wasn't just Drake, though. It was certainly Josh Downs. No?
Josh got hurt. It was not the same Josh toward the end of the season.
With all
the respectfully.
Yeah, sure.
If we had a healthy Josh Downs, sure, I'd go with you there.
It was all Drake. Drake carried the team.
By the end of the season, he said, "Y'all don't know which way to go. I'll make it easy. Follow me. Follow me. I'll show y'all where to go. I'll show you where the wins reside." And he was doing it until they ran up into some real defenses. But Drake May is as good as advertised. I'll give him that.
Sure.
I'll give him that.
Sure.
Now, we're talking questions. And the biggest question for this team, you finished last in the ACC in multiple defensive rankings, and you get rid of your defensive backs coach. You get rid of,
or not a bad thing.
Not get rid of, but 3 of your 4 defensive backfield starters from last year are gone now. They're in other programs. How do you find yourself in a space where, Candace, you were talking about, hey, they're going to make the playoff, they're going to do all this and that. And how do you have those types of expectations while replacing the entire secondary on the defense? That was awful.
I'm sorry. I said North Carolina's going to make the college football playoffs.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you were saying there coming in. It sounded like whenever people talk
college football playoffs or ACC championship.
I'm sorry, ACC championship.
Yep, go ahead.
Whenever people talk too kindly to the folks in baby blue, it starts to sound like adults on Charlie Brown. Well,
it's apparent you weren't listening. You weren't listening to receive, so you were just listening to respond, and that is probably what you need to work out with your therapist. But I will tell you this, okay? If North Carolina can figure out how to find some defense and Drake can throw them things, just watch out. 10 wins is on the way. 11 maybe 2.
I believe that. If the defense produces something special, if more defenders than Cedric Gray end up being all ACC first team, I have no doubt in my mind that this team will win 10 plus games.
And I think that Drake needs Copenhagen and all the receivers that have returned and the one that came from Georgia Tech to try and find a will and a way. They're going to have to.
That tight end room is really good. I believe what is it? Is it Bryson or Bryson? The tall. He's a baller. He's a stud. There's not a single one-on-one matchup in the ACC that I would say like, oh man, he's going to be in the straitjacket all game. I could be wrong. Somebody could prove me wrong this year, but I think that he's a baller. I think he's going to do some special things for this team. And I think that there's going to be a situation where that plus some of these receivers they have incoming mixed in with Drake's talent, I think they'll find a way to be offensively a juggernaut again. But the question is not about the offense. It's about a defense that couldn't stop a runny nose with tissue, Robitussin, and 8 COVID vaccines with the boosters. Nice.
You tried so hard. So it was like, I'm giving compliment. Oh, I'm too nice. Got pedal back. It's fine. It's okay. I will have the last laugh when it comes to this program. Just so we're all clear.
I just want to tell the truth.
Who do cast to play throughout the season. North Carolina and NC State will also be playing each other this season. Mm-hmm. It will probably be the ugliest episode we do throughout the year. So I just hope everyone is mentally there and ready and prepared to what we have going on. Because we all know it gets real spicy here on this show. Let's end with a banger. Duke plays Wake Forest. I think it's going to be a very good and exciting year for Wake Forest. They do not face off against North Carolina or North Carolina State, which is a big miss here for if you think about Hoop State and rivalries or in-state rivalries. That is definitely one that you are going to be without. However, semicolon, comma, Duke and Wake Forest, Battle of the Nerds that we like to call it around here. I think this is a good one for Wake Forest, who not only do I not know I'm getting one from Wake Forest, I just want to know, is it going to be, decent or at the same level of football that we saw last year?
All right, so here's a very interesting fact about Wake Forest that not even Coach Dave Clawson knew. If you go back 8 years, every 2 seasons, they get exactly 15 wins. 7-8, 7-8, 4-11. Guess how many games they won last year?
6.
8. They won 8, which means they're on pace for a 7-win season this year, which sounds very believable with Sam Hartman not walking through that door, Mitch Griffiths having some playing experience, their running back being a guy who, Justice Ellison being a guy who, it seems like he's been in the program for forever. I mean, is it just me or does it seem like he was there with Kenneth Walker III?
Oh, Lord, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It seems like it.
He might have been.
It feels like it. And he's still just chugging along, doing his thing on that team. And so this is a team. They're unique. They run what they run. They run that long. They're going to long mesh you to death, baby. They're going to long mesh you to death. But they do it well. They do it efficiently. They have an all-ACC center that is up for the Remington Award and all that good stuff, along with majoring in one of the hardest majors in Wake Forest school. I believe it's engineering or something along those lines. But I look at this team and I say to myself, Sam Hartman ain't walking through that door. That's the biggest question. And so what do you do without him? Who are you without him? Because all of those numbers I just gave you about 7-8, 7-8, 7-8, 4-11, Sam was a direct contributor to a vast majority of those. And so, what happens there? Or not a vast majority, but the highest highs, the 11 win, Sam was going crazy. Yeah, he couldn't miss. And so the question is, who is this team without?
1,000% agree there. All right, so when it comes to Wake Forest and Duke, who are you giving the edge to?
I'd say Duke. Duke has the better quarterback, and Duke has a slight edge on defense.
Fair enough. When it comes to Duke, North Carolina, and NC State, who has the upper hand this season?
I think it's like so I know that not too many Beyblade nerds are gonna watch this, but
not too many what?
Beyblade nerds.
What's
Beyblade. Beyblade, the letter rip.
Pokemon?
No. It's
Dragon Ball Z?
It's Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z adjacent, but it's not quite that. It's
anime?
Yes, actually. Beyblade is technically an anime, I believe. But it's literally like the little spinning tops. I had a bunch of them when I was a kid. Long story short, Beyblades are designed to be like the rock, paper, scissors thing, to where one defeats the other, right? Like you had the attack type that were strong against the it was like the defense type was strong against the attack type, but the defense type was bad against the stamina type. The stamina type was bad against the attack type, and the circle goes on. I think that's kind of how these 3 teams look. North
Carolina,
a
dreidel. Okay, goodbye. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Wow. It's been I want to say like 1,000 days or something like that since North Carolina's beaten NC State. So that's a thing. That's an objective thing that's happening there. However, NC State, you just feel like, are y'all ready to beat Duke? Are you really ready to beat Duke?
Come on.
But
because wait. Dorian's been begging for this matchup.
But he's been begging for it. And I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes
careful what you beg for.
Don't beg for smoke. Never beg for smoke. Okay.
He's been begging for the smoke.
Because sometimes when you beg for smoke, they got a barbecue waiting on you. They got a whole smoker. They put the whole pig on that thing. You understand?
Whole rack of ribs. Okay.
They put the whole pig, all of it, on that thing. So
rotisserie.
But with that being said, Duke against UNC. I mean, you go back to when Fedora was there and they trashed Duke's locker room. Like this is this has never been
Here
a
you
great
go
matchup
spreading
for Duke.
rumors. Here you go
Spreading rumors. That's not a rumor. That's confirmed. We know that happened.
You got one little in the News and Observer article where we don't know for sure. And that's
we don't know for sure.
I'm
you know
just
what?
saying
You know
who
what?
was in the locker room. We don't know all this.
And see, this is what we talk about with bias on this show. This is what we talk about with bias. Because video ain't enough. You know, the video ain't enough. The News and Observer ain't enough. It's all.
I heard News and Observer getting paid by NC State, but that's just me. You never know. You never know. All right,
folks
y'all.
that ran out Jimmy. You know what? I ain't finna go here. I ain't finna go here with you.
We got a couple more schools to go over here. We've got Virginia, Louisville, and Virginia Tech, and they're part of the docket, so we might as well go ahead and talk about them when it's all said and done. Please don't go anywhere. There are great episodes still remains to be seen, and we want to make sure that you're in on all of this action from the 355 models. More importantly, who is on the road to the ACC championship? And in this group, I'd give it to North Carolina or North Carolina State. Shock me if Duke or Wake Forest in the conversation.
I think that Duke or NC State are the two. I honestly do, because I don't believe in North Carolina's defense at all. Like, and here's we're not even finna go into this in depth because we at the end of the episode. But if y'all go watch the short on this, it's on our page already with Mac Brown talking about that defense. I'm worried. I'm concerned. There's reason. I'm not satisfied with that answer, and I'll leave it at that.
We got more to give you, so make sure you stay tuned for Candace Cooper and Kenton Gibbs. Until next time.